everyone says, dude, what was the biggest experience, that you've learned with everything that happened? And I preach about it in my book and my podcast. I'm always saying, pay your people first, pay your vendors second, right? Then reinvest in the business, then pay yourself. I left tens of millions, if not $100 million on the table, not paying myself distributions for like 5 years. I left it all in the company. So one of the regrets is you better find a way to pay yourself as well, right? Pay your people and you something. Pay your vendors, reinvest. You got to reinvest though. So if you think you need to make $100,000 a month, make 50, reinvest. If you think you need to make 50, make 25. Like you have to do something. I didn't. I kept it all in there, kept the same pay from 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. And the company went from 40 million to $1 billion in value. And I didn't get paid anymore. So that's mistake number one. Family's like, really? Like it sucks. Okay. 2, you have to protect, block, and tackle. So you have to, no matter how big a company is, you have to have a second option. We always had 2 panels. We always had multiple finance companies. We had 2 racking companies. We had 2 BOS companies. We had everything in 2s, except when we switched from SolarEdge to Generac, we just went all in one. And it was great until it wasn't. And then we were like, oh my gosh, what do we do? And it was like they caught the tiger by the tail. We were done. Like we couldn't fix it. So I always tell people, like, just be proactive in that. Have a second vendor, even if it's one market. You need to protect yourself like that. You can't go in bed all in with somebody that's something you can't control. Now the lawsuits will all figure it out, and Generac will lose. They've already lost half the value of their company. And $6 billion market cap, and they went from 300 stock price to like 1 and change since we closed. So I know it's done them damage, but there's a huge lawsuit for $1 billion that all our, customers will eventually get something. All the employees we had to let go. Like, I don't think I'll ever get anything out of it. I pray, but I highly doubt it. It's just too big of a number. So we'll see what happens, but they will lose that lawsuit. And that'll be ugly. It'll go on for years. I'm still having to do depositions for it and stuff. And truth keeps leaking out more and more. And people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did this. Oh my gosh. And it's just bad. So I can't believe they're still in the business. But I think a lot of people stay away from them just because of what happened with us, even if they don't think it's all Generac's fault. But I can assure you about 90% of it's Generac's fault. We had our normal problems, but you're always able to manage your problems until a giant problem happens. Then everything gets escalated and you can't keep up. Yeah, and that's what I want to try to prevent people from getting in that position, because that was the worst position. For 5 months, we were in survival mode, and it was just crazy. And we were 2 months away from going public. In your business, no matter what your business is, whether it's real estate, whether it's a salon, whether it's, a dumpster or hauling service or trucking service, whether it's, it's construction at a home, it's in-home services, whatever it is, you have to develop a strong value proposition. Right? You have to find a pain. A customer either is buying because of pain or want. And the biggest problem, we talked about what Jeremiah mentioned, is on Google. Everybody loves Google because it's like, hey, I've got bugs at my house. Let me Google a pest control company. Great. That's out of necessity and need. Like, everybody can get that. Anybody can say, I'm going to put Google AdWords in whatever industry I'm in, real estate agent, salon, whatever it is, I'm going to get when they're looking for something. But how do you fish in the bigger pond? That's what Jeremiah was mentioning earlier, right? That's what Tavon was talking about earlier. How do you get your business out there to where it's not necessity and they're Googling you, but how are you perking interest for the giant ocean? So think of Google as a small pond down the street. And out of necessity, those fish need to be caught because they need something. But what about the ocean? Right? They don't need something. It's your job to have a value proposition, to find pain points, to find wants, to put ads out there, call to action, something that perks interest for someone to go, well, damn, I never thought about getting, bug service before, but look, they're running a promotion right now, and it's also doing something for the yard and doing this. Or maybe it's real estate agent. Hey, I see the ads of these agents. They're saying houses are selling for this, and they're able to, partner with a mortgage broker and do this. Hey, I see that this company fixes bricks, brick around the house, as well as the concrete. We're in Michigan, cracks all the time. Hey, I'm looking, we never thought that we might need trucking service or a hauling service in the back. We own a restaurant. We're just paying some Mickey Mouse company down the street to do it. This company's offering a steal deal, guaranteed to beat everybody's price, a call to action. Let's call them. You're now fishing in an ocean of clients, everybody. You're making everybody available as a customer, and you're trying to get their attention. And that's what really, in my opinion, digital marketing is, or utilizing social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the platforms. You want to be able to put your mark out there, have some kind of call to action to where now you're fishing everywhere. You've got poles everywhere where people are biting. You're not just fishing in the same pond where somebody wants something. You still want those folks. And you want to be the best at that, but you can't grow on that because that's just out of necessity. How many people are going to need bug control? How many people are going to need the brickworks? Well, some people don't think they need it, so they don't message and they don't Google. Jeremiah wouldn't get it if he didn't run ads, and ads that have a call to action, 0% interest, 0 money down, call us today. We're doing financing. And you could set that up in anybody's business, a call to action where you have a value proposition and you're able to have good selling points. The one thing that I really love, and I'm gonna work on a lot on the one-on-ones and the courses that I offer, is when you go into a home or when you're talking to a client, what is the best way to sell? Because a lot of people just go in there, wheel and deal, and that was great like 15 years ago. Right now, it's about listening, and it's about finding those pain points, and it's about finding the reason why you're there and making them tell you that, and it's about building rapport, and it's about letting your guard down, but helping them put their guard down. We all know this. And whether you've done in-home sales, you've done anything that any of you guys have done, people don't want to be sold. So they automatically have their guard up and they're scared that you're going to take advantage of them. Even if they invite you in the home, even if they called you for the service, they feel like they're not getting the best deal and their guard is up. Your job as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a salesperson, as a broker, as a real estate agent, is to get that guard to come down and have a relationship with them. Your job is to make them trust you, to build credibility, to talk about yourself and be vulnerable, talk about who you are, what you're about, talk about the company that you're with, what they're about. Show that passion rather than just sit there and say, oh, this is what I do. Let me see if I can get you the best deal. That's not what people want nowadays. It's not 1995. It's 2023. And people have this, and they have access to this to do everything and anything they want now. So it's your job when you're in front of them, whether you're running an ad online or they're talking to you, to empower them to make a decision. I always go back to the very basic part of all of us have done this. You walk into a clothing store, and when somebody says, hey, can I help you? We all say what? Nope, I'm just looking. That's what we all say. But if they come up, as some lady comes up to Tavon in the store and says, hey, here's a 34 jean. Why don't you go try these on? And they're dope. What's Tavon going to do? If he wears 34, I don't know if he does. He's going to go try them on, right? They're seeing a want or a need, and they're not asking open-ended questions, and they're not just coming in for the sale. They're providing a service. And we have to act like that when we go into a home. One of the things we taught in solar was we don't go in there and sit down and say, here's the deal. We walk the home and let the customer envision the product. We're going to put it up here. That looks good to you guys, right? Why am I in this meeting with you guys? Is it because you don't like the utility company? Is it because you want to save the planet? Is it because you're looking for tax credits? Is it because you're worried about power outages? Are you trying to reduce utility bill? What's the main reason? What about you, Mr. or Mrs. Smith? What is your main reason? And when you get those, you're able to navigate through, because everyone has their own buying reasons. And your job as a salesperson or an entrepreneur or a leader is to use your sensors to feel that and then be able to make a decision and help them. And you're the specialist where you've built that rapport, that guard is down, and you're able to make a move on that. No matter what you're doing, whether you're negotiating with a business or you're negotiating with a home buyer or you're negotiating with a customer in their home, it could be negotiating at a salon. Hey, what does he do? Well, we do all kinds of service. We do this. You're inviting them in. You're running ads that say, hey, we're different. We're not just a normal salon or a normal barbershop. Here's what makes us different and why. You want to have a fun, great experience? Come see us here today. Like, those kind of things bring people in, but people don't want to feel sold. I hope that makes sense to people. So I think in a business with solar, it's hurting because the financing is atrocious. Yeah, it's horrible, yep. Right? But you still have to have a call to action. And in my opinion, one of the reasons that I loved doing battery so much, just never do Generac, dude. Run as far as you can. Solar Edge, maybe Tesla, get two. Don't do the Generac. They bought Pica. They didn't do the due diligence. They said it. We got emails, all that stuff. They admitted like it's bad. So don't use that stuff. But you should offer a battery option, because that eliminates, you can't sell someone solar to save money. At Pink Energy and Power Home, we were never about saving money. That's not a good call to action. They're not really saving money in most states, not with financing it. It's hard. They can't save. Only in certain states they can. Our pitch was pretty simple. You're future-proofing your home from power outages. You're future-proofing your home from the time of use. You want to buy that EV vehicle? Guess what? All the energy you produce from the sun, you can save at night and charge your vehicle. Don't you want to make a difference in this planet? Don't you want to invest in something that matters, that you can control, rather than something that just keeps fluctuating on you? And customers, we're good with that. We would show them your bill's $250 now. With a battery, you're paying $320. But in 10 years, and would show, and we had the lowest. People were using, I don't know what you guys use for your climber. We were using real estate information, 2.5%, 3%, 4%, 2%, 1%. So in some people, after 18 years, they finally were even. But the moment you start selling savings, you're done. You're everybody else, and they're just going to look for the best deal, and that's not your buyer. You sell value, you sell the idea, the concept, the reason why. And that's why when we trained our folks, it was like, find out why you're there. Because if they're just looking to save money, go hire John over here with his white van and his subcontract guys and his panels from Asia and have fun. John's not going to be here next year, right? But the point to that is that's how we would do it, right? We wanted to be different. Like, we sold the NFL, like they weren't saving money. And look, we only did, we did a parking garage at Lions Stadium, and we did their training facility. And then we did a good amount of Bank of America Stadium. We did a little bit at Cleveland. We did more at Pittsburgh, but they did it because of the concept, what it meant to the community, that they were a part of a renewable green plan. That's the only reason they did it. So, and then we became their partner, and that was building credibility. We didn't do it because we made money doing those NFL stadiums. Gosh, no. We did it so when we got in the home, they go, oh, well, if you install there, of course you can install in my house. It's all about building credibility. It's all about building value, right? The reason why people pick different cars is what? Do you think they really drive better? I mean, if a performance car, a sports car, yes, but no, it's because of the value they bring. It's because of how they market, so. The other thing is we like to sell payment. I'm real big on selling payment. I'm not big on selling total amount. You got to show the total amount, but I'm big on payment. People want to know, what is my payment? I don't know if you guys do that. Some people are like $62,000 and then here's your payment. No, you start with payment. It's $332 a month. What's my total thing? Well, it's down here at $62,000. But whatever you do in the future, you can refi your home, figure that out. But this is your monthly bill, right? And you have to be confident enough in your brand, your product, to not bat an eye when you're telling a consumer, because if you go back and ever look at all of our ads, like it was, you can reduce your energy bills and do this. It was never save money, because they're not saving money. They're just not. And all these people that say they're saving money, like that boogeyman's coming to get them. Like, it's coming. So you don't want to be stuck into that, and you don't need to. There's so many people that will buy solar because they like your business. They like you guys. They like the products. They like the mission, and they don't want to keep losing power when a damn tornado comes, or when a hurricane comes, or when a storm comes. They're sick of it. They don't like the utility company. People don't know this. I got to do a roundtable with Trump. 68% of our customers are Republican. Yeah. Why? Because they hate the power company. So we marketed to that. Remember when I told you pick the pond, you find out what ads work, and you go, that's our buyer, and you double down on it. So I've got 3 solar people I'm working with right now, right? And so everything's NDA and everything like this, but one's a commercial guy trying to get into residential. One's a guy that does only residential in California, is looking to expand. And one's a guy that's looking to sell his business, and he's doing really, really, really well, and he needs to raise capital. The first one I mentioned, though, that's running the residential company and trying to grow, they are at somewhat the infancy stage, similar to where you guys are, probably a year or two advanced. They did $7 million last year in sales. So my first year in doing solar, I was in North Carolina. When I opened, it was like the best market to be in. You had the 30% tax credit for the feds, and you had 35% for state. So you had all these, what I call locusts, people that don't operate in the state, that come in and take business and then leave the customers hanging. You had locusts everywhere. It was bad. NRG, all of those companies back when they were exploding. And I left the home security business because I got tired of it, and I was excited about solar. Todd Peterson was a friend of mine. He was a mentor. I was like, dude, I want to do what he did. I want to leave this platform and go into solar. And so when we did, I wasn't ready for that. Like, you guys are selling software. I was used to selling paper. Like, I was used to selling home security, ADT, Brinks. Like, we sign you up, we install you, we get paid, 2 days from now. I wasn't used to We signed somebody up. We paid for marketing, we signed somebody up, and I'm waiting like 2-3 months to get paid when it's installed. Like it was a cash problem. Okay. And I had to take all the money I made from the first few businesses I sold and sell my house to put it into it and not get paid for almost 2 years. So it was a humbling, hard experience that I had to go through. And I was running appointments at the beginning. Like for like 6 months, 8 months, I was the one running the appointments. But here's why I went into it a little different than what most people would have done. My first home security company I built was all door knocking, van teams, like pulling up with the whole wrapped car, people knocking on the door, getting interest, having this van manager come close the deal. That's what I built. That was great. But it was, 2005 to like 2010. That was cool. You can't do that now, in my opinion. People don't want you to bother them at their door. Then the second venture for about 2 years, I owned a call center in Pakistan. I owned a call center in China, and we did all telemarketing. And we had call centers everywhere where we'd buy data and we would call all these people. And it was a telemarketing, monster, but we didn't know much about telemarketing. So every time we turned around, we were getting lawsuits from professional plaintiffs that had 100 phone numbers. And they're like, I'm on the DNC, pay me $5,000 or we're suing you. And that became a nightmare. So those were real big pain points for me in that industry, where when I opened solar, I said, look, I'm never going to deal with door knockers again, because I don't like the kind of people they are. Meaning, like, after they make money, they disappear. Like, they're gone all weekend. They don't show up Monday, and you're handcuffed to them for them to help keep your company growing. 2, I don't want to deal with telemarketers or call centers again. I don't trust people. I got sick of small Mickey Mouse lawsuits for Johnny, who has a call center in Texas. It's like, hey, we'll sell you alarm deals, and you think they're following the rules and they're not. You get sued on behalf of. I was like, I'm done. We're controlling everything. So the first 6 months, 5-6 months, I was buying from Solar Reviews. I was buying from Clean Energy. Like, actually, Clean Energy Express, we were one of their first customers, helped put them on the map. But we were buying from them, doing all those things, right? And it was a mess. Energy Sage was a nightmare. You're bidding on people. And I'm like, this is bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I said,
that one as well.
Oh my God, it's the worst. So I said, you know what? We haven't touched those in like 7 years, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this. This is a failed experiment dealing with these guys. I'm going to learn digital marketing myself. So I would learn how to do the lead gen myself. And they didn't have YouTube courses and stuff, 2015 when I opened up. And I'm trying to figure this out. I'm like, I'm one that I like to get my hands dirty and learn it. So someone can't bullshit me, right? Someone that works for me can't go, man, this is how you do it. No, it's not, dude. This is how you do it. I don't want to hear that. Like, you're full of, like, no, like, this is how this works. Don't blow smoke. So I figured it out, and it started to work to where I was creating, it was, wasn't as great as it could be, but I was creating enough leads coming in where I would have people call and qualify them. And then I would send people out to run them. So what it meant is, and we were the first company in solar really doing this, everybody was door knocking, is I had the gold. I had the gold because I didn't have to hire a hunter to go get it. I had to hire a farmer to take this appointment and farm the deal, educate the consumer, see why they're there, why solar is important to them. What are their buying remarks? What are their pain points? What's their excitement? And I trained and helped build this thing. Like, when you go into a home, customers don't want to be sold. They want to be empowered to make a decision. So you give them the education and you lay everything out there, and then you let them make that decision. So I figured out that not only was this a good experience for the consumers, it was a good experience because then I didn't have to hire salespeople. I could hire teachers. We've hired lawyers because they made more money running appointments than they did doing law. We hired loan officers. We hired normal people that, as long as they could, have a great conversation and they can educate a consumer, that was it, right? So contrary to what, like, half the world thinks Pink Energy did all these bad things and half the world thinks, like, truly, we had a full compliance team, a full legal team. Everything was TCPA compliant. We had audited financials for 5 years. We did everything the right way. Our proposals, we were expensive, but we offered energy efficiency. We installed ourselves like you guys are doing that costs more. American made panels, all the financing's built in. So we did all those things the right way. Until we didn't. That's why we had the A+ for 8 years. And that's why we did 5 NFL stadiums. I was big on integrity and making sure we gave a 10-day cancellation period for consumers, not 3, not 5, not 7, 10. So all the consumers that raised their hand and loved us, they picked us because we were the best. When the shit hit the fan and we all of a sudden had 10,000 customers that had an update on their system that turned them off, and we didn't know for 4 or 5 months this was happening. We went from 800 phone calls to 30,000. We couldn't get out of the tidal wave of the shitstorm that happened. That was one of the biggest failures, was not having a backup a secondary company on our inverters and our batteries. Mm-hmm. And that was the issue that happened. That's a whole nother, can of worms. But what I learned in that situation as we grew is the bigger you get, the more compliant you have to be. What would happen was we would run ads under Pink and Power Home that would draw them in, and we'd build a brand. And so at first it's a little expensive because you're creating brand awareness and people are learning who your company is. But we were going into
Well, I know a lot of people on LinkedIn that are doing podcasts. Yeah. One thing, I think it's important to join groups, right? Like whether it be Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups. I'm real big into that. I'd like to build this coaching up. I've joined like 4 or 5 groups on LinkedIn. I've got to get some on Facebook and take my own advice and do that. But it's important to join these groups because that's where people go to find things. So like, oh, I'm in this group, let me go there. And as long as you plant your seed or, put your seat in there, then you can see what happens from that. Mm-hmm. I think it's important, more content, obviously, especially, when you can get third-party content of you speaking at an event or like you said, a panel, the credibility just rises, right? So
exactly.
It's similar. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to go meet with Gary Vee's team to do that speaker bureaus thing, so I can have more credibility when I'm talking about coaching. I'm out there, on stage and mention it and see what I can do. And so I think I'm a big believer of you. It's not just your company brand; it's your brand that you got to build.
It's the personal brand.
You are your company.